So, welcome to Tanya, the Saga of Tanya the Evil. A little bit of housekeeping before we begin. If you check the title, it clearly says first time watching, blind reaction, no spoilers. Should be pretty self-explanatory, but I am mentioning it again just in case. Please, no spoilers. If there are spoilers, the mods will delete it. The mods will time you out for 5 minutes. If you're a repeat offender, they're just gonna ban you till the end of the series, and I won't see any of your comments until this video is either uploaded on Patreon or YouTube, and you're gonna miss out on discussions. So please, if in doubt, don't post it. That's simple. I've been editing a bunch of reactions on YouTube, and the one thing that really disappoints me is I'm like watching an episode, I'll use Overlord as an example, and I'm watching that very episode that about 20, 30, 40 people are excited to see my reaction to something, and then one person just spoils it. Imagine you're going to go watch a movie with friends, and your friend is watching it for the first time, and I know you're excited and you really want to see what they think and you really want to see their reaction, and you just spoil the ending for it. You know what I mean? Please don't do that. We're all here to have a good time. Let's have a good time, but please, no spoilers. Everyone's saying sub. What did they do with the dub? Everyone's saying sub. What's going on? Normally it's a 50-50 split. Now you guys are just telling me, like, what's going on? I see a lot of monocubs are telling me subs, so I'll do subs. I mean, you guys voted this thing in, so what can I do? All right. Audio probably won't make it to YouTube. Audio will make it to Patreon. It is what it is. All right, here we go. Tanya the Evil. Wait. Kadokawa. Why does that seem familiar? That name seems familiar. Did I watch any other of their shows? Or is this like a generic company and I'm an idiot for pointing it out? I feel like I've seen this. ReZero. Ah, shit. Wait, are they the animation company or the writer? Oh no, they're the company. Okay, so the animation style is going to be pretty good. Okay, it's the company. I was worried that it was going to be, you know, the writer or the director and it was just going to be messed up. Or maybe it is going to be messed up. I don't know. We'll find out. Oh crap, I'm worried now. I'm worried now. Is this No Man's Land? I see. Yeah, this is 100% No Man's Land. I see the German helmets with the pointy thing. I see the artillery. I see barbed wire. Yeah, this is No Man's Land. So this is probably World War One, unless I'm mistaken. Yeah, and they're firing the barrages. Yeah. You know what I always found interesting about different militaries? They have different strategies regarding how to fire their artillery. Some of them just bombard everything at once. Some of them fire in a straight line like we saw bam, 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 bam. And some of them alternate in 2 or 3 rows like bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. I always found that interesting. It's, yeah. Bayonets. Ooh, that must be close. And that basically means go, go, go over No Man's Land. Oof. Are those M1s? Oof. Move or you're a dead man. Majors? What? Yeah, you're fucked. Oof. You've got yourself a guardian angel. What? Excuse me? Excuse me? I'm beginning to question everything I know about the world of this anime. Shit, son. Does she even need that bayonet? I mean, come on now. I have to ask, what drugs were they doing when they came up with this concept? It's like, you know what'd be cool? Yeah, World War One. Yeah, No Man's Land. Yeah, and then a bunch of little girls with sniper rifles fly in like magic and like put shields up and like stop bullets and fly people away and have explosive shells and shit. Yeah, and I'm just like, my god. This is what happens when a country doesn't allow drugs. You get this type of anime. It's the substitute for drugs. Oh boy. You know what I absolutely love? Look at this flag and then look at that one with the twin-headed eagle. This one's like, I'm an evil dragon. It's like, this one's, I'm an eagle. I'm gonna fuck your shit up. Oh man. Alright, so we've got England, obviously. So what are we dealing with here? I love how they're smack down in the middle. I can't wait to see the Balkans. I have to wonder, why didn't they use the OG names of the countries? Because I don't think the countries would copyright claim an anime. You know what I mean? Berun. Okay, we can't say Berlin. Okay, fine. Damn, this looks familiar. Is this the Reichstag? You're gonna light up like a Christmas tree in about 20 years. Rhyme Theater. Lieutenant Colonel Erich von Rerugen. Oh man, I'm gonna have fun pronouncing these names. Brigadier General Kurt von Ruder. Give me a little bit of water. Brigadier General Kurt von Rudenstorff. Oof, these are tricky names to pronounce. Why does he look like fucking Stalin? He's trying to go for that Stalin beard. I'm trying to remember, when was Hindenburg in power? I know he was in power before Hitler became vice chancellor and then Reich chancellor, but I'm trying to remember when he became, you know, like, history is tricky. You know what the crazy thing was during World War One? A lot of the countries were using tactics from the Boer War. So they had firearms, but they were using tactics from back in the days when they were using cannons, swords, and cavalry. So they were pretty much, using lines and charging, which is why you got no man's land. Because back in the day, when you had charges and lines, you didn't have mobile rifles with a striking distance of 100 or 200 meters. So back then, it made sense to have these charges and gain land and create strongholds and footholds and slowly advance. But as soon as they developed guns and then they developed machine guns and then they developed, handheld grenades and explosives, the battlefield changed. But the commanders of that time during World War One were stuck using the tactics that were previously employed during their time on the front lines. And because they were so disconnected, they were pretty much, in Australia, they were calling the soldiers lazy for not capturing ground. Meanwhile, no man's land was like a death zone. You're literally charging into oncoming enemy fire. It's filled with mud, blood, guts. Artillery's raining on you. Grenades are raining on you. You've got sniper. Like, it was hell. Like, fuck me. No man's land. Like, if you were on, you're fucked. And meanwhile, the people making the decisions were all the way back home where they were in bunkers, had absolutely no idea what was going on, and they were just sending young men in to die. Which is why they're using chess pieces. So it's pretty funny. They got a little horsey. They actually still used horses. Even during World War II, everyone thought that Germany was a highly mechanized force, and it was. They had their tanks, they had their panzers, they had their armored division. But what many people didn't realize, they still relied on traditional horses to move a lot of the munitions and the supplies. And the Allies only found that when they started attacking Germany after Normandy and they bombed the shit out of everything. They actually realized a lot of the mechanized force, particularly when they were running out of fuel, they realized that a lot of the supplies were coming in via horses, even during World War II. Wait, so is he making reference to them attacking a second front? Because that was World War II. Oh my god. Brigadier General Hans von Zetour. Yeah, look at that. What they don't show you is the blood and the guts of all the soldiers that are spilled everywhere when a shell hits them. And don't forget the smell. Ugh. You want to vomit. You want to vomit your insides out, but half the time you can't. War is literal hell. And what you don't hear is the screaming of the soldiers that are maimed, but they're not dead yet. Fucking hell. Second Lieutenant Tanya. Oh, Jesus Christ. Degurchov. I can't believe they have fucking majors. Corporal Victoria Serebriakov. That fucking sounds Russian. Corporal Harold von Vist. I'm sorry, I've just been reminded that they have flying mages. I'm still getting used to this. It's gonna take a while, guys, but I'll get there. Ah, surprise attack. So I'm guessing this is the equivalent of, well, I'm not going to say it's the equivalent of the Iron Cross, but back in World War One, you had bravery, you would get awarded the Iron Cross and other medals. So I'm guessing this is the equivalent version of that. Wait, what? Oh yeah, that's a formal uniform. Ooh, she's carrying one of those SS sabers that they started using for formal events after World War One. I recognize it because I was looking for King Bradley's sword from Full Metal Alchemist, and that was one of the sabers that I ended up finding that looked similar. You can tell because it's got that little indentation on the handguard. Yeah, see? That's an SS saber. It's supposed to have a little bit of gold on the bottom. It's supposed to be a whole black thing. But you'll find this pretty interesting during World War One. A lot of the people that signed up, signed up for nationalism and things like that. But you found a lot of soldiers inflicting injury on themselves to get home. And one of the most popular things that they used to do, and this is one of the things that ticked young Adolf, off, was that the soldier would literally get a handgun and shoot his toe off, or shoot one of his toes off, and get sent home. Yeah. And another thing regarding disobeying orders. You guys know where the Aussies were, they landed in Turkey? How they basically they ended up landing on this beach where they had this big cliff that was overlooking the beach and the Turkish forces were just firing down. Well, they ended up being landed on the wrong beach. And so they were fucked. Like, the Aussies were basically fucked. There was no chance in hell they could even land on this beach, much less take it. So the Aussies were landed on the wrong beach. They had machine guns overlooking the beach on this tall fucking cliff. You know what the Aussies did? They fucking jumped out of their boats, and so many of them died, it wasn't even funny. But they just fucking ran through the beach, climbed up the fucking cliff, and took it. And so when the commanding officers got the report that the Aussies were landed at the wrong beach, they were going, fuck. And I was like, here's report number one. We landed on the beach, sir, because they actually had two plans. One plan was to land on this beach, and then they realized if they land on this beach, they would fucking die. So they had the second plan. But out of some bullshittery, someone was probably drunk, ended up landing on the first beach. And so when the commanding officers got the report that the Aussies landed on the beach, they realized what a huge fuck up this is, and that the Australian forces are just going to be fucked. And then the second report they got was, sir, the Aussies took the beach. And it's like, they what? And if you look at the famous photos of this beach, there was this one British guy, I shit you not, he did not use a gun. He used a bow, an arrow, and a sword. And every night he would play the bagpipe. There's this famous photo of him on the beach. Everyone else has rifles. This guy has a fucking sword. This guy took so many gunning positions by himself. He would literally climb, go behind them, jump in and just stab them all with a sword, fucking kill them. And he said the war were the best years of his life and he wished it had lasted longer. I'm like, what the fuck? Fucking Aussies. I think he might have been British or something, but yeah, he was just a demon of war. He was a demon of war. Anyways, yeah, I'm loving it. She's sort of wearing the SS outfit before the SS outfit was a thing. There's a reason why the Nazis got Hugo Boss to do their outfits. Funny thing, Coco Chanel actually got her fashion competitors sent to the gas chambers. That's why Chanel is such a big brand. She got all of her competitors sent to the gas chambers because she was the Nazis. But that's another story. So if you ever wear Hugo Boss, you are wearing Nazi clothing. Military insurrection is punishable by death. But the way she's handling that sword is similar to how you would handle a katana. See the placement of her hand? It's on the front, and you're supposed to use your thumb to push the sword out of the guard. Then you flick it and you slice the top. That's not how you handle those sabers, but, you can't blame the Japanese for not knowing how to use European weaponry. The added bonus, if someone's actually close, you've got on the butt of the sword this little metal thing, so you can actually hit them with it. And you can actually break, ribs with that. See the stance that she's using? That's effectively what you would do with a katana. This is a very Japanese way to use it. These swords were purely ceremonial in Europe. But anyway, what would I know about swords? You can see the Japanese influence in the animation. But don't get me wrong, it's still cool. Oh, they brought a winter jacket. That would have really helped them in Russia, wouldn't it? Sorry, I shouldn't be making jokes like that. First Lieutenant Ichlen... Oh, Jesus Christ. Shidvortskov. Man, it feels like Oktoberfest. Remember, guys, spoilers equal timeout, not just the delete. People need to learn. I'm taking the gloves off this anime. You wouldn't want to disobey your commanding officer because you get put on shit shoveling duty. And it is exactly as it sounds like. Shoveling shit. And you don't want that. No, she's fucking scary. They actually developed this in late World War One in Germany, but it was commonly used in World War Two during Blitzkrieg. The Germans had this pharmaceutical thing. It was like a bar like this, and effectively it was a over the counter pick me up. It's the equivalent of energy drinks today, but the key ingredients was methamphetamine. So, if you wonder why soldiers during the Blitzkrieg were able to fight for 3 days straight without fatigue and sleep, it's because they were all high on meth. And Hitler was also a meth addict, and an opium addict, and a heroin addict. Every morning, Hitler, he had his doctor, right? and his doctor prescribed him this morning cocktail of heroin, methamphetamines, and opium. After which Hitler was on top of the world. Fucking drug addict. During the final days of the war, when, Germany was getting bombed on all sides, he sent out a unit of SS, which were like the best soldiers he had, and they all had this little pouch of meth, and they bombed Germany's, production plant, so they couldn't produce any more meth. And then Hitler recalled his units to come back to his bunker just to get their meth. He was that much of a drug addict. So during the final days of the war, Hitler was actually going through withdrawal. He was not having a fun time. He was not having a fun time. In more ways than one. He was having a bad time. I mean, that's why half of his plans were just fucking insane. Because he was fucking high as shit when he came up with them. I mean, if you look at during his early speeches, you could tell that he's on something. One, he doesn't blink. Two, his pupils are like, oh. And second, he's like sweating profusely. One way you can tell that someone's on meth, and I learnt this from cops, it's their lips are all dry because meth just turns your system on like crazy and you get dehydrated like crazy. They cannot have enough water because they're just like profusely sweating it out. And you just look at Hitler, how much he was sweating during his speeches, and you can tell he was high as fuck. You may not realize this, but I like history. Oh, fuck! Yeah, she needs some meth. You can tell she's an MC because she's got that little hair on top, little thing that sticks out. I forget what it's called, but the little hair that sticks out, that means you're an MC. Ahoge, that's the one. I'm still learning these phrases. See? She's got the little ahoge. It's so fucking cute. I just know she's the type that would just bite my hand off. I'm actually curious as to what the circular medal is because she seems to be the only one that has it. I wonder if it's for valor, bravery, or something else. Everyone seems to have this one, which is like the square one, but look at this one. This one's like a step above that one. These ones are all coated with silver. This one's coated with gold. What'd she do? It's probably the reason she got promoted. Yeah, don't answer the question. It's just me asking the question that I have in my own head. I'm not asking you guys to answer it. Like, don't fucking answer anything. You know who else was a corporal? Adolf. Oof! Are you fucked? Republican Army 106 recon metric. What the what do they even have trenches then? Like, this is fucked. This changes two-dimensional warfare into three-dimensional warfare. As soon as you have three-dimensional warfare, why the fuck do you even have ground units? First Lieutenant Augustin Hossmann. You know what I find fucked? That they're using these rifles to snipe someone from that far away. The only rifle that actually had that sort of effective range at that time was the Mosin gun, and that was developed shortly after World War One, if I recall. So, historically inaccurate. That rifle would not hit. Even if it did, you'd have to compensate so much for the bullet drop, and the wind would fuck you at that altitude. But what would I know about sniping? Look at how much the fucking clouds are moving. And plus, wind direction is in different places that high up. There's wind this way, wind that way. There's no way you'd land that shot. Oh, right. I'm applying logic to a magical bullet. I still don't understand why they have their bayonets. They seem like long-range fighters. Why would you even have a bayonet? That's unnecessary weight on the tip of your rifle. Wow, she's seeking those promotions. Ah, so those little leg things are what's letting them fly. Interesting. Originally, I thought those leg things were for people that got injured to basically, like, close up the wound and provide blood and all these other things. But it turns out it's for elevation. Oh, Jesus. Wait, is she firing a bolt action like a semi-auto, or is she one of the people that has a semi-auto? That explains the bayonet. Oh, she's having fun. Is she going to use the sun as cover? Can she even breathe that high? Plus the temperature would be really cold. So she's using the clouds as cover. Clever. What? Ah, crap. The fuck is this? She's not human, is she? The fuck is this shit? Damn, son. She used her ultimate. Play of the game. I think you burnt them a bit. What? What's the Treaty of Worms? Does that mean you feed them to the worms, or what's the go? Republican capital Parise. Okay. Ministry of Defense. Hmm. What? Those two guys that got put in the back. Wow. This program is fiction. All persons, groups, places, laws, and names appearing in it would have no relation to the free world. Let me tell you why that's bullshit. What? No ending theme? Oh, okay. They usually reserve that for episode 2. But, okay, to be fair, I mean, it's a non-moving target, yes. And if it wasn't 3-dimensional warfare, but rather 2-dimensional warfare, the odds of them actually hitting it from that range would be pretty low. Given that they have people that actually fly around now, and, you know, I mean, it is a pretty easy target.
Hey, did I hand you a shrinking potion by accident? I could have sworn that was the gender swapping one.
Don't be hating. She's fun sized, that's all. She doesn't even have to get on her knees to blow.
You want to add anything to that conversation?
Nope, I'm good. In fact, I think your new size makes you an even more formidable and stealthy ninja.